Hello traders, welcome to the weekly outlook and setups volume 279. You know what we're going to be doing, just jumping straight into the market, see what has been happening so far, and of course what kind of opportunities can we expect for the upcoming week. So without further ado, let's get into it. Of course, let's start by having a quick glance at the economic calendar. So on Monday we have all the PMIs, so Euro, GBP and USD PMIs, so could be a volatile Monday, keep that in mind, which can potentially even make it tradable if we already have some sort of a setup developing. Tuesday looks pretty nice. We have this consumer confidence that is actually should be a high impact news right now. Wednesday we have GBP CPI for the pound traders. Make sure to be monitoring this one, and then some medium impact USD news. Then on Thursday, only USD news here, unemployment claims, GDP. Those are pretty nice news releases that tend to drive some volume into the market. And then on Friday, this one is very important, the PCE price index. We're having some euros, some GBP news. So it looks like a pretty nice week. Nothing extremely important to be waiting for, nothing extremely important like FOMC, Fed rate, or CPIs across the board. Looks pretty good, so I'm going to be focusing on trading potentially every single day, looking for my setups. So let's jump into the technicals right now. There are so many prop firms out there, but the one I prefer is FundedNext. First off, they have multiple plans, but my favorite is the Stellar plan because you actually get paid to pass your challenge, which is a huge incentive to treat it professionally. They offer a 95% profit split and payouts hit your bank account in under 24 hours, or else you get paid $1,000 bucks. FundedNext offers competitive profit targets and crazy affordable pricing. Like for just $32, you can control $5,000 account on their Stellar Lite plan. It's crazy value and they accept all payment methods, credit card, PayPal, even crypto. FundedNext is well established in the UAE with a strong reputation, rated 4.6 on Trustpilot with over 27k reviews. I trade with them, my community trades with them, and we love them. Now it's your turn. Use the link in the description plus code FANATICFN for 120% refund when you pass your challenge. Before we get started, make sure to join my free school community. It's an absolutely incredible, positive community with a lot of value from everybody, and the classroom here is a full course that I've never shared anywhere, so make sure to join. It's the first link in the description. Alright, as always, we're gonna get started with the DXY. Now I'm going to also go through the monthly time frame because it's pretty important right now, because we're tapping into this monthly bullish imbalance here that I don't believe the market can just tap into this one and fully start reversing. What I believe could be happening right now is we might be just getting a reaction pullback from that monthly imbalance to then potentially continue rolling down. Now again, keep in mind we just have 9 days left of the month, and this month was huge. We had very massive flush here, 430 pips. That is definitely not bad. So it's been very volatile. I was sick this week, so I couldn't really trade. There were some great opportunities, but unfortunately I missed them. So transferring onto the weekly time frame, what we also have right now into this monthly bullish is we're having a very nice and big weekly bearish. So this is what I call a supply and demand sandwich. So the market being stuck between the two buns, right? You can see, and we're exactly in the middle right now. So again, the key question is which one is going to prevail? Is the weekly bearish right now going to hold? Is the monthly bullish going to hold and push price higher? How do you know? And the key answer is you don't. What you just simply have to do is you have to keep dropping to the lower time frames and just read what the market is telling you. All right. So now we go to the daily time frame. Sorry for my voice, I'm still a little bit sick. We go to the daily time frame and we can see that actually it was Thursday and Friday that for the first time tapped into that weekly bearish imbalance. And again, so far, honestly, we chopped here at the bottom, like even from last week's Monday, kind of moved down, moved up, then we went down again, then we moved up again. So we have been at the bottom here after that massive flush, not doing much. You can see there are no daily imbalances, there is no daily trend, which immediately means that even the 4-hourly time frame and the 1-hourly time frame are going to be choppy. But right now we're tapping into that weekly zone. So again, my key question is, are we going to start turning bearish from here? But then of course I drop to the 4-hourly time frame, and what we see is that here we had a lovely long right there. And you can see from the bottom, the market started shifting structure here this week. So pretty much on Monday we opened, we came in to take out the previous weekly low, and you can see we didn't really close below it. So Tuesday made the weekly low, And then since then, we started making bullish imbalances. Again, those are the zones that I'm looking for, signifying momentum. We also had, for example, this hourly trend change here, and we had a very nice bullish run. Even here, one final one on Friday, we had this hourly bullish imbalance that the market tapped into and still followed through to be taking the liquidity. So right now, a lot of liquidity is taken. A lot of these hourly imbalances are tapped, and you can see on Friday we didn't make any new ones. All right, so there is no bullish zones and there are no bearish zones as well. So again, currently, unfortunately, on the DXY, I don't have any sort of daily and hourly zones to work with. All I have right now is this weekly zone, and all I can do is say, well, two things can happen. The market will either start invalidating that weekly zone by printing bullish price action with bullish imbalances and bullish breaks of structure, or the market may be open a little bit bullish, but then we can start flushing lower, breaking structure, for example, right? Something similar to here. Maybe take out the previous weekly high in this case, and then start printing bearish structure in this case, like the bullish structure that printed here, and we're just gonna be following the flow. That's it. It's that simple. You don't need to forecast right now, hey, DXY is going to reverse from here. You don't know, right? You just don't know. So those are my two scenarios. Again, no zones on the daily, no zones on the hourly time frame. It is very hard to work with such a big weekly zone because the market could also want to pull back a little bit deeper before it retraces. Okay, so what is really key right now is to literally flow with the hourly time frame. Is it going to start popping higher with bullish imbalances? You follow the longs. Is it going to start breaking structure bearish with bearish imbalances? You follow the shorts, which then would be very high probability it's starting to target all of these lows here because there is nothing else to stop price and push it higher. And then of course, this is going to be the main target. That is that weekly major low here. Okay, so that is the DXY. I would say I have more of a bearish bias, but before I really commit to shorts, I need to see the hourly time frame to get bearish. Okay, I need to see something like this to happen. Tapping in, hourly bearish imbalance, shorts are in place, hourly bearish break of structure, shorts are in place, and you can see you capped one short, two shorts, that is your week done. Okay, so this is what I'm waiting for. So if DXY is shorts, let's see if EU, GU, AU are longs. Well, checking out EURUSD, pretty much the same here. We have that very last extreme monthly bearish imbalance. This one, let's just make it red. And the market is already reacting from it. It's printing the monthly candles high here, the monthly candle high wick. Now, again, the key question is, are we going to be pulling back right now and continuing to push up, or are we going to maybe move a little bit lower? Because again, we're in a very big range right now. Even if you think of kind of this range, we could be making a little bit of a deeper pullback, but I no longer trade with FIPS and stuff because if the market is strong, it is not going to be giving you 50% pullbacks. It's going to give you like 38.2 or maybe even 25. I look at that massive bearish push here. Oh, this came very close to the 50%, right? But if you start looking at like massive pushes like this that are very fast with momentum, you can see the market doesn't always give you very big pullbacks, okay? So currently we're again tapping into that weekly bullish imbalance, and very similar to the DXY, the question is, all right, so are we going to start going long from here? Now EU again took out the previous weekly high, and then we had 3 days of shorts, some good opportunities, but again, I was sick. I didn't really trade this week. So we're tapping into that weekly imbalance for the first time. And once again, guys, unfortunately, we're not going to be having some very clear setups coming into the beginning of the week, because then we are just tapping into that weekly. There is nothing on the daily, and we drop to the hourly time frame, and there is also nothing on the hourly here. Nothing, which is actually a good thing. We had this very small hourly bearish. The market tapped and followed through bearish, which is good. Tapping is into that weekly, and yeah, that's it. Again, some good shorts here. The market shifting, shorts, the market shifting bearish again, shorts. Two very nice shorts. So again, I'm looking for something similar to this bearish range, but just flip it in the opposite way. So what I'm looking for right now is for the market to break structure, print the bullish imbalance, pull back, take a long, push again, pull back, take a long, push again, and of course, at the end of the day, target these highs. This is my really preferred outlook, but again, anything can happen in the market. If the market opens and starts just rushing lower with shorts, well, guess what? I'm going to be short. I no longer am going to stay attached to the longs. Not that I'm attached right now, but we're tapping into that weekly bullish zone. I'm potentially expecting a rebound, but of course, if that doesn't show in price, I'm not going to just push my opinion onto the market. So that's EU. No, nothing really to say. We don't have any imbalances. We don't have any zones. All we have here is the market sweeping that low. And yeah, nothing much to work with. So again, we just have to wait for the market to open and just see which direction is going to pick. Is it going to start breaking structure higher with imbalances? Go short. Is it going to start breaking lower with imbalances? Then guess what? We go short until we're proven otherwise. So that's EU. Unfortunately, no zones. Let's move on. Unlike the DXY and EU, you can see GU doesn't have a monthly bearish imbalance here. It has one right there, but we're already starting to break above it. And yeah, it doesn't look like we want to hold from it. We definitely could still flip that monthly candle to bearish, but very similar to the rest. We're having that weekly bullish imbalance, and you can see on GU we're having 2 weeks of a chop. So it's not doing much. The next liquidity target is going to be this weekly high, which we didn't really reach to. So again, the key question is, are we just going to start rolling higher, or are we going to pull back into the weekly first? Now, if you have a look at EU and the DXY, they already tapped into their weekly imbalances. GU has not. What does that suggest is that GU is a little bit stronger. It's not as bearish, for example, as EU is. So EU is pulling back right now, 3 bearish days, pulling us back into the weekly, but GU is a little bit slower to the downside. So then transferring that onto the daily time frame, I'm really not a fan of this price action. Like, you don't have any daily imbalances and it keeps moving higher, but nothing really to work with. What we did at the final of the week is we just took out that swing low and we rejected. Dropping onto the hourly time frame, let's see if we have something here. Well, it's just bearish. That here was a very nice short as well. Currently, the shorts are in control on the hourly time frame simply because of, like, again, all the bearish imbalances that are printing. And we even have another one here. So honestly, I cannot say I am long biased right now on GU. And I'm very curious to see if this hourly bearish order flow will continue to push us towards that weekly zone, and then maybe from the weekly zone we start reversing, or if the DXY and EU already start reversing from their weekly zones, then that could potentially make GU also start pushing higher and just shift the structure without having that macro zone being tapped. Because again, if EU has tapped it, if DXY has tapped it, well, and if both of them start moving, then GU is not supposed to be tapping it. This is why it's always good to be monitoring the DXY if you're trading EU and GU, because a tap of that weekly imbalance on the DXY can potentially cause the DXY to reverse, causing EU and GU to move without their zone being tapped. Okay, so that is GU. Honestly, I don't want to short it. I don't want to short it from here. But it's definitely a possible setup to maybe push us once more lower, take out, for example, the previous weekly low, and then from there we can start looking for a bullish reversal again if the DXY and EU start showing us these signs. So that is GU. Again, I'm really not a fan so far of the market. No zones, a little bit mixed up in terms of the bias. The last weekly candle didn't tell us as much. So which means that if the last weekly candle was a chop, there is a very high likelihood that the incoming week could be an expansion. So let's focus and just follow that 4 hourly time frame. Let's check out Aussie dollar. So like the last 3 months of this one looks super choppy. So very, very, very choppy. We're tapping into that monthly bearish imbalance. We had a massive reaction at the end of February, I believe. And then right now, March, still again, it's been a month, but it's still inside bar of the previous one. It pushed up, it pushed down. And then we dropped to the weekly time frame, and god damn, look at that weekly chop here. Bearish bull, like we are still staying inside this candle here. So for 3 weeks, we haven't broken out of the February's sell candle here. This is crazy. This is a crazy chop. I haven't touched Aussie dollar in a very long time, and I don't plan to, but again, nothing on the weekly time frame to, like, we have this very nice bearish weekly candle, but can I just build a bias from a bearish weekly candle? Not really, right? It's sweeping the previous candle high. It's also sweeping the previous candle's low. It's not committing to some side, right? And then I go to the daily time frame, and this is where I start spotting the choppiness, like massive chop here. We had a pop higher with a daily bullish imbalance. Then you think, okay, we're going to start targeting that high. But no, the market rejects on Wednesday. And then just Thursday blasts through that imbalance. Comes to take out this liquidity point. And right now we're having a bearish imbalance here. I am really not a fan of this market right now. Again, we are, let's say we're tapping into that monthly bearish. We're getting a daily bearish here, but uh, I am starting to look more long on EU and GU. So is this really a good idea to go short on that one? Well, this is kind of the setup that is provided right now. This daily imbalance, if it pulls back into it, we can look for a short. And even if the forward time frame here, it has a forward bearish imbalance. I'm just not convinced of the macro time frames like the daily and the weekly, right? Even the monthly. So two situations right here. This market can either get short from that forward zone for a very quick short, or if that forward zone gets blasted, then it's gonna drive us into the daily. And then from the daily, are we going to reverse or are we not? This is of course probably gonna happen, let's say like Tuesday or Wednesday. So it's out of my control to say what could be happening. So that is Aussie dollar. Again, if I just simply listen to price, it is currently bearish. It is currently bearish, but it was also currently bullish here. And if I did an outlook here last week, I would have definitely said, for example, into Tuesday getting into Wednesday, I'm absolutely long bias. Daily bullish imbalance, daily order block, tapping in, rejecting, I would absolutely be looking to long that pair, I'm sure. But then again, just Thursday came in and just sold off, right? Things change, biases change. This is why you should never be obsessed over one bias. But that's Aussie dollar. Shorts from the hourly. If the hourly fails, shorts from the daily. And then of course what happens, we have to wait and see. But I'm gonna stick to short bias on Aussie dollar simply because that's what price is telling me. Let's see if NZUSD agrees with Aussie dollar as well. We're having that monthly imbalance here. In this case, we are crossing above that previous monthly high. And it looks like we literally swept it very nicely this week. So again, keep in mind, Aussie dollar hasn't moved outside of that range for 3 weeks. This one also chopped here for 2 weeks, but we finally went for a very nice sweep. And now this is giving me a little bit more of a bearish bias because we're again still tapping into that monthly imbalance. We're sweeping the previous monthly high. We're sweeping that weekly swing high. And on the daily time frame here, we're getting a very nice reversal pattern, right? We're having that very nice imbalance in and imbalance out. This is what I call a V shape, right? And you want to be part of the right side of the V shape, not trying to chase the longs here on the liquidity graph, but right now start looking for the shorts. That can potentially take us into the origin of that manipulation move, which is right here. So it gives me this one a little bit more conviction than Aussie dollar. And this is also supporting the Aussie dollar bias short. Similarly here, we're having that forward bearish imbalance as well. Do we have any sort of reaction areas? We do have that one where the market could potentially stop for a moment. So this is a very good profit-taking idea. Here also, there is a little bit of a demand here and a little bit of an imbalance. So we could potentially move from that forward zone, tap into these support areas, pull back, and then potentially attack the liquidity. That could be a potential scenario. Or we can potentially fail that forward zone, tap into the daily, and then of course still develop the same. Those are my two situations, and I'm literally calling the shorts here on NZUSD because I really do like the shorts. I really think that this could be potentially manipulation, sweeping all of that massive high, trapping all the buyers that are buying above that level. Like imagine you're a buyer above that level. Where is your stop loss? Down there. And right now you're being suffocated, right? So the market should not really be making big pullbacks to help these long traders exit like at break even or exit at profit. No, we should just dump the market right now if you are a market maker, right? So this makes me a bit more confident for that short here from the forward zone. So let's see. Aussie dollar and NZD dollar give us a clear short bias. I'm very curious to see how this one is going to play out because I was more long bias on EU and GU and short bias on the DXY, but that can definitely change. And the Aussie and the NZD are not part of the DXY. I believe. Yeah, I think that should be the case. So we can definitely trade these two individually. All right. So let's see. Looks like a very good setup here. All right, let's have a look at gold, which is just continuing to push right now. Like, look at the positioning on the monthly candle. It is literally at a very massive R high. It is forming a monthly bullish imbalance, which really suggests that we are going strong. And then dropping onto the weekly time frame, I would really love a pullback here. So we're having that beautiful weekly imbalance aligning with that weekly sell candle to buy. So base, demand, order block, whatever you like to call it, this is a very good area for potential longs. So I would say something like this is very nice to potentially forecast, but as I keep saying, like if there is one thing that you can take from these outlooks or from me is never have like a very certain 100% bias, because anything could happen in the market, okay? So I'm not just gonna come here and say, okay, I want to see the market pull back into the weekly and then I'm gonna be taking longs, because the market can open, it can start popping higher, and then I'm just gonna be left like I'm not going to use bad words here, just left hanging, waiting for that weekly imbalance to tap while the market is showing me that it wants to go higher, okay? So how are we going to be tackling this is we're having that daily bullish imbalance, okay? So how do we know if that weekly imbalance is going to get reached? Well, we drop one time frame lower and we explore if there is something else to push the market higher. And in this case, we have that daily imbalance. So if that daily imbalance fails, then that is going to expose the weekly, and then we're going to go long from here. But if that imbalance holds, the daily one, we can already start looking for longs. Now we drop to the 40 time frame, and yeah, from here we had the first signs of the bearishness. There it is, right? Fully bearish, taps in, holds. Second short here, fully bearish, taps, absolutely dumps. I paper traded that trade, but it was very fast. Something happened and it just dumped like crazy. And right now we're having another fully zone, all right? So we are in a little bit of a sandwich situation here, daily bullish, fully bearish, then we have the weekly time frame below. So again, the very key thing to do right here is just observe who is in control and wait for your zones to be forming, okay? I would really love if the market right now invalidates that fully imbalance with a bullish one. So if we get the bullish one here, I will definitely be looking for the longs, because now I'm going to be getting the daily time frame aligning with the fully time frame, and then I'm going to say, well, this weekly imbalance is probably not going to get tapped. But if we from here start flipping bearish, then I would start taking shorts for the week, targeting the weekly zone. So do you see, those are the two main outcomes of this week. We either hold from that daily zone and we start taking longs, or we don't hold from that daily zone and we start taking shorts into the weekly, okay? So in this case, I could even make myself kind of transition into the 1 hourly time frame, and the 1 hourly time frame is not giving us a lot of information. Like if I started seeing 1 hourly bullish imbalances here above that fully zone, then I would potentially consider the longs. But what I would love to see on the 1 hourly time frame right now is to react and then to strongly break the reaction, and then I'm gonna start looking for the longs, okay? So this is gold. This is gold. It actually doesn't look bad. All we have to do right now is just wait to see what the market wants to do. So let's allow for Monday to pass, at least Monday London session. Let's see what it wants to do. Is it going to start reacting and then breaking? Is it going to start reacting and flushing lower? We really have to see what is going on. But again, these are the two outcomes. We either break above that fully zone, start printing new bullish zones, and then start targeting like highs like this, and then high like this, and then eventually all-time highs, right? Or if the market holds bearish and starts printing bearish imbalances, then we trade it towards that weekly imbalance. Very clear two outcomes on gold. All we have to do is just wait to see where the market wants to go, because guess what? We do not know. Price is gonna tell you what it wants to do always. All right, let's check out the JPY starting from UJ monthly candle. We're taking a lot of liquidity here, that's for sure. Are we starting to pull back? Well, it looks like it. So let's of course gain more information on the weekly. Now, the weekly time frame doesn't have any imbalances, and it has been choppy here for 2 weeks. Like we have this very nice rejection candle, and then this week tried to go higher, but it failed. Rejection. There are no weekly zones. I would even say that the bullish target is going to be here, but it doesn't look as bearish. So let's transfer that onto the daily time frame. Daily time frame, goddamn, this is some. If I'm spending so much time and if I'm getting uncertain, then the market is not looking good. We had a very small daily imbalance here, looks invalidated, and then we had a bearish. Wow, this is a choppy market. I'm not really trading UJ, but this one is choppy. So we had bullish, we had bearish, and if you have this kind of situation here, if you start getting your imbalances or structure being constantly disrespected, that simply means consolidation. If you don't have any imbalances created, that's a consolidation. But if you have like bullish, then bearish, then bullish, then bearish, that's also consolidation. So currently, again, we're having that bearish. The market is getting into it on Friday. Ah, man, this is just some crazy price action. We have bullish one here, but doesn't look like it wants to hold. But then it still recovered very... this is Tough price action. I wouldn't touch this price action. I'm really confused on that one. Like, you can look at it in multiple ways. You can, of course, be focused on structure. I don't focus on structure too much. I focus on order flow and momentum. But yeah, honestly, I don't have a bias here. I don't know. I can't really forecast anything from the weekly. Nothing is being given to me on the daily. Like, it was bullish and right now it was bearish and right now it looks like it's back bullish. So if we do form another daily bullish imbalance here on Monday, then I could say I'm gonna be more on the long side, targeting that high. But if Monday starts flushing and invalidates that imbalance, then I would say I am more bearish and gonna start targeting that low. But then from the 40 time frame as well, this sort of delivery here is very choppy. Guys, again, no bias on that one. I am going to be waiting for it to shake out a little bit, to print some follow price action, to truly show me where it wants to go. I'm going to wait a day or two on this one, and then I'm going to tackle it again. Currently, it's just stuck into this very big range right now, and it's not giving us any clues about where it wants to go. Let me know if you have a bias on UJ. I personally don't, so I'm going to be waiting for it. Let's check out EJ. So on the monthly candle, we're having a very nice bullish pop, starting to get a little bit of a rejection from top. Weekly, okay, so here the weekly looks a little bit better. We're having that weekly bullish imbalance here, but the market is really running away from it, and they just took that very major point of liquidity. So I'm not sure if I have mentioned this in a previous outlook. Yeah, last week, if I did it, I would probably have mentioned it. But yeah, right now we're taking it and we're rejecting very violently. So are we going to start going bearish towards that weekly, or is there something bullish on the daily to stop us? No, here we have that similar thing. We're having a daily bullish followed by a daily bearish. I know a lot of people call this like inversion or balanced price range, whatever, right? Just follow what is happening in the last price range. This gives me vibes of NZUSD, by the way, if you remember. Massive bullish, massive bearish, targeting the liquidity. This looks pretty similar. Massive bullish into liquidity and then massive bearish targeting the opposing one. So I do like EJ a little bit more than UJ. That could be a potential good outcome if there is nothing on the 40 time frame. Yeah, well, the 40 time frame here is also a bit tricky, but at least it has this. It has this. Now it came in, collected the liquidity first, and then it pulled back into the imbalance. So again, two situations right here. We had another pair that looks like this with a forward in the daily imbalance. And of course, we have to see, is this forward going to start holding targeted liquidity, or is this forward going to fail to take us into the daily, and then from the daily again, look for your shifts to go short. This is EJ. Those are my two scenarios on EJ. I'm going to call shorts on that one because looking at all the time frames, like weekly sweeping the liquidity and massively rejecting, and having a weekly bullish imbalance for a potential target, daily time frame being super bullish, but then right now being bearish, which means that this has been a sweep. This is a V shape, and then we're going to be targeting the liquidity. And then the forward time frame also starting to become very bearish and having that forward zone. It gives me a lot of bearish confidence. So this is my outlook on EJ. Let's see how it plays out. GJ on the monthly time frame, it is absolute chop. I have no idea how somebody could be trading that pair. Dropping onto the weekly time frame, absolute chop as well. Like, I have no idea why I'm even looking at this. Like, look at these weekly candles. There are no weekly imbalances. It's all chopped up. It's one big range here. Nothing to extract. Dropping onto the daily time frame, we're probably gonna have a similar situation to EJ. Daily bullish, and then we're having a very small, very small daily bearish, which actually got tapped. Interestingly, it got tapped, yeah, and it rejected already. So dropping onto the 40 time frame, yeah, the same here, 40 bearish imbalance, but this one on the hard time frames is just all chopped up. Like, I just don't like it. But what I'm gonna say is, yeah, shorts from here. This is all I can say. Shorts from here towards this liquidity target. Now, what is going to be happening afterwards? No idea. Is it going to start trending lower? Is it going to start chopping up again? I don't know. To me, Euro Yen looks a lot better. It looks a little bit more structured. It doesn't look that bad on the daily. Like, you can see, it's actually trending. It's making moves on the weekly time frame. It's also not that chopped up, right? While if you check out GJ on the daily, absolutely chopped up here, no daily imbalances, and on the weekly it's absolute crap here. All right, so that's that is GJ. It's tapping into the daily already, which is very interesting. It's printing a forward imbalance out of that daily, so I can say shorts. Could it come to sweep the high again and then print bearish? It definitely could, because if EJ pushes a little bit higher, then this one is very likely going to follow. But if both of them start responding from that forward imbalance here, then that could also be very nice for early week shorts on Monday, for example. So let's see if the shorts on the JPYs are going to persist. All right, welcome to the index futures part. So we're going to be starting with ES, the S&P 500 futures. We just had the contract rollover, the contract switch from the March to the June contract. So having a look at the monthly candle, it is very nicely bearish. We are currently in a dip or in a crash or in a downtrend. We don't know. A downtrend gets triggered after we pull back 20%. So we still have a lot to pull back 20%, especially on the futures. Now, is it going to happen? It definitely could, right? It can come back to, for example, rebalance this high, make a little bit of a deeper pullback, but this is, again, outside of my control. Let's focus on what is happening right now. Dropping onto the weekly time frame, we have that weekly bearish imbalance, which is looking like a very good zone for us to pull back into and then resume the sells. And then if I have a look at this week here, this is called OPEX, options expiration week as well, and the day. It tends to be choppy, and we can see within the week as well. It's quite choppy inside bar, so we can expect next week to maybe do something. And then we transition onto the daily time frame, and it's very chopped up. Very, very, very chopped up. The last thing we had here was that daily bearish imbalance that tapped in, followed through very nicely. And then since then, it's just candle up, candle down, candle up, candle down, candle up. Okay, so where to next? No idea. No idea. Because even if you drop to the 40 time frame, well, if you have all of that daily chop, the 40 time frame doesn't help as much. So for example, here we came into sweep, we had that 40 bearish imbalance. That was a good short here on Thursday. I actually took some winning trades on futures this week. But yeah, then we didn't really make 40 bearish imbalances anymore here on Friday, and we recovered at the end of the day. It's a consolidation, so unfortunately, guys, I have nothing to say. I'm just going to be waiting potentially Monday, Tuesday to pass. Give me some indication about where it wants to go, because I don't have daily zones. I don't have hourly zones. It's literally just sweeping the lows. Okay, it missed these lows. It swept that one here. Sweeping the lows, at the same time sweeping the highs. It's stuck in a consolidation, so I can say right now, well, we can come to sweep that high, but that would be an uninformed decision because we don't really have any sort of zones to support that. So again, I'm looking for a shakeout. I'm literally, how I trade futures is I just jump into the market at the New York Stock Exchange open, and I just have my top-down analysis. Of course, I'm looking for my intraday setups to align with that, but I'm not married to that top-down analysis, because if the momentum is bearish on the open, I'm gonna follow this even if I'm bullish on the long-term bias. Okay, so let's see. I'm looking for a breakout, a shakeout of this range. Let's see if next week is going to provide us with that. Well, unfortunately, NASDAQ is pretty much the same as ES. We're having that very massive bearish candle, which is very good. Are we going to start targeting some of these lows? We definitely could. Dropping onto the weekly time frame, pretty much, yeah, the next major liquidity target is going to be this low, which we're getting very close to. And very similar to ES as well, we're having that weekly bearish imbalance. Now, this is a very interesting target for next week, to maybe have a pullback into that weekly imbalance and then see from there, are we going to hold and continue the dump, or are we going to start turning into a bullish market? I have no idea. There is a lot of uncertainty going on right now, but yeah, you can see OPEX this week, pretty choppy inside bar. So we can expect maybe next week to start breaking out. But yeah, then I go to the daily time frame, and how do you want me to have a bias when the daily time frame is like this? We cannot. Bullish candle, bearish candle, bullish candle, bearish candle, bullish candle. Okay, I can say the next candle is bearish based on that pattern, right? But no. And then I drop to the 40 time frame, and no recent zones to be working with. Now, sure, we have that end of day very nice buy here, but I can't say I'm long bias just because of that. So I'm looking for more. I'm just looking for the market to start popping higher or start popping lower, and I'm gonna follow it anywhere it goes, right? But currently we just don't have anything on ES, nothing on NQ as well. So I'm gonna be probably waiting for Monday to pass a little bit, and then I'm gonna look to tackle it again as the week goes. So again, for indices, patience right now. Let's wait for some shakeouts. Quick glance at YM as well. The same monthly bearish candle. The weekly time frame, no weekly imbalance was created, so we still have that previous one. Will the market pull back all the way up here? We gotta see. And then daily time frame, yeah, the same thing here. Started recovering a little bit, and then we entered into a 4-day chop here. So yeah, then we transition onto the 40 time frame. We don't have a bearish zone, we don't have a bullish zone. We have a very massive recovery here after we came in to sweep this low, right? So we swept it, very massive recovery. So I can say potentially that this can be a target right now, because if you drop to the 1 hourly, then you're going to be having some zones, the market coming in and then coming out, and then you have, for example, that 1 hourly zone. And if the market starts printing, so I'm getting here into intraday level, by the way, so this is pretty much how I would trade it. But right now, if you start getting continuous bullish ones, I'm going to be targeting that high, and then from there I would start expecting 4 hourly zones to start forming. Okay, but yeah, currently getting into Monday, I'll very likely just be patient, waiting for the market to commit and for the indices to get a bit clean, because ES, Nasdaq, absolutely choppy, YM also together choppy. So something is happening right now. The market is waiting for something, and hopefully next week, as we're getting the actual contract switch right now, hopefully it's gonna start moving a lot better. So let's see. Let's have a quick look at DAX. So this one is massively bullish, monthly imbalance here, and we're going to be forming another one in 9 days. So maybe we can start pulling back later on. Weekly time frame, quite tricky price action here. Last week very tricky. This week sweeping highs and then returning back into the range. Yeah, it actually took out all-time highs, and then since then it reversed a little bit. Now we're having this daily bullish, and right now we're having a daily bearish imbalance. Very, very tricky when it happens like this, because we're also, for example, coming from that daily zone bullish here, and then at the same time the very recent one is a bearish one. So I usually listen to the most recent one. Let's check out the 40 time frame here. Yeah, you can see this daily came in, reacted, but then broke the reaction. Nothing bearish. We're having this very, very, very small bullish one. So is it going to pull us back into the daily, this one, and then, for example, start selling up from there? Could be, right? But to me, DAX right now is a little bit tricky. Like, if you have a look at it, it's kind of in an overall consolidation. We're literally in the middle of the consolidation right now. So I would either wait for that daily imbalance to get pulled back into here and look for a short, or I would wait for the market to really start shorting on the 40 time frame to start shorting. I don't have a clear bias here. I really can't say I'm bearish, because I'm not, but I'm also not bullish because there is no bullish bias as well. So very tricky DAX as well. But it looks a little bit more cleaner than the US indices, for example. It's moving a little bit more. It's making some big pushes on the 40 time frame, while, for example, the rest of the US indices are just chopped. This one, at least, it's moving. So let's see. This is kind of one of my outlooks right now, but I wouldn't really long from this zone. This zone is still part within the previous range. It really hasn't had a higher low, higher high to really confirm that this is a reversal. But if we tap into that daily, I will definitely be interested for shorts. Let's see. Not a huge fan of it though, but this is how I would analyze it. I would definitely give it some more time to develop and give me a bit more clues though. So let's recap. DXY is tapping into that weekly bearish imbalance, and that is the very key decision point for next week. Are we going to start going short from here, or are we going to continue pushing into it? Because Euro USD is also tapping into that same weekly bullish imbalance though. Is it going to start reversing, or is it going to continue pushing deep into it? The 4 hourly time frame is going to be the absolute key for that. Currently, the 4 hourly time frame is bearish, so we gotta wait for it to turn bullish. Or if it continues to go bearish, well, we continue with the flow. It's that simple. GU also, the forward order flow currently is bearish. It hasn't tapped the weekly zone, so I'm very curious again. Is it going to continue bearish until it taps the weekly? Or if EU and the DXY reverse, this one can also go without tapping the weekly. Aussie dollar and NZD dollar are surprisingly very nicely looking for shorts. All right, so I'm short bias on this one, which makes me lose a bit more confidence on the longs here on the UNGU, but anything can change, okay? Especially NZD/USD with that daily bearish imbalance, with the hourly bearish one, with a very nice sweep into that monthly imbalance. It looks very good for shorts. So let's see how that plays out. Gold, it's either gonna reverse right now from this daily zone and go bullish, or if this daily zone fails, we're gonna go to the weekly. So we have very clear outcomes here, right? If the buyer starts stepping in, we target all these highs, and if the sellers step in, we target a weekly zone. So all we have to do is wait to see which direction the market is going to pick up after the open. The USD JPY is super chopped up, but Euro JPY looks like a very nice short, sweeping a very important high here, printing a daily bearish imbalance and even a forward bearish, targeting this liquidity area here. So let's see if the shorts are going to prevail. GJ looks the same, but I would really prefer EJ right now because GJ has been very choppy overall. So EJ looks a little bit better for the shorts. US indices, I am definitely waiting for the daily time frame here to shake out a little bit because it's been choppy for a very long time. It has a weekly imbalance above. Is it going to start getting us higher into that weekly? It's going to start flushing right now after the open. The new contract is on right now, so let's see. But ES, NQ, and YM, pretty choppy on the daily. All of them have that weekly bearish imbalance. So are we going to have a bullish week into that weekly, or are we just going to start flushing? I don't know. We got to wait for the forward time frame. And DAX a little bit mixed up. Daily looking still bullish, but we're having a bearish zone. And then on the forward time frame, it's a little bit mixed up. I will definitely give this one a little bit more time before I take any trades on it. So that is how the market looks like right now. I am a little bit uncertain. There is nothing that really shouted to me, yo, that's a very good setup right now. So I'm definitely going to wait for Monday to develop a little bit. Our best setups are like from Tuesday to Thursday. That is when usually we get one high probability setup, and that is when we allow the market to show us where it wants to go. It's simple as that. So again, let's wait to see DXY, EU, GU. What are they going to react? Which direction are they going to take from these weekly imbalances? And then, of course, we're going to trade with some clear direction. Hope you had a profitable week. Hope your month is going amazing. Let me know in the comments what is your favorite pair for the incoming week. And I'm going to catch up with you on the next analysis.